I remember the night like a wound that never closes. The rain was cold, sharp, almost angry, and I was standing in the living room watching Mira hold her suitcase like she had been waiting years to pick it up. I said, "Mira, what's going on? Why are you packed?" She didn't even look at me at first. She just breathed in, slow and shaky, and said, "I can't live with you anymore. I feel empty." The words hit me so hard I forgot how to breathe. I asked, "Empty? Because of me? What did I do?" She shook her head and stared at the floor like it was easier to leave me than face me. I wanted to run after her. I wanted to scream. Instead, I stood there with my hands shaking. "Mira, please talk to me," I called, but she didn't stop. The suitcase wheels rolled over the wet ground, and that sound still comes back to me at night. I whispered, "You can't just leave me like this." She didn't turn around. When the door closed, the silence was so heavy I felt it pressing on my chest. I sat down on the floor and tried to understand how we even got there. I kept saying, "We were fine. We were fine, weren't we?" But maybe we weren't. Maybe I just refused to see it. I remember when we met. She laughed at everything I said, even the stupid jokes. She used to tell me, "You make me feel safe." I believed her. I built my whole world around that sentence. But slowly her voice changed. She stopped calling me Aram with warmth. She stopped asking how my day was. Sometimes she came home tired and said, "I don't want to talk. I just need space." I thought it was stress. I thought it was normal. I tried to give her time, affection, anything she needed, but she kept slipping away. I didn't talk to anyone about it except Saad. He always said, "Bro, she's distant. Something's off. Ask her straight." But I was scared. I didn't want to hear anything that could break me. Saad was the kind of friend who showed up even when I didn't call. He'd knock on my door and say, "You look dead, come outside," and drag me out for tea. He warned me, but I kept telling him, "She loves me. She's just stressed." I was lying to him and to myself. Then there was Rania, Myra's cousin. She always treated me like I wasn't good enough. I still hear her saying, "Mira could do better, you know?" It irritated me, but Mira always defended her. "She's just protective," she'd say. Still, Rania watched our marriage like she was waiting for it to fall apart. Sometimes she'd give Mira long looks, whisper something, and Mira would grow colder afterward. I never understood it. And of course there was Professor Cameron. I didn't think much of him at first. He was just her literature teacher, someone she admired. She talked about his classes sometimes, saying, "He understands stories better than anyone." I used to tease her, "What, you like him or something?" And she'd roll her eyes and say, "Don't be stupid." But I noticed how her face lit up when she mentioned his lectures. I didn't want to believe it meant anything. I remember the day she came home late and said, "I had to stay for extra guidance." I asked, "With who?" She said, "With Professor Cameron." I felt something cold in my stomach, but I forced a smile. "Okay," I said. "Just text me next time." She nodded, but she never did. Maybe that was when it started. Maybe I knew and just refused to accept it. That night, after she walked away, I sat on the edge of the bed and whispered, "She'll come back. She has to." The rain hit the window, the house felt hollow, and everything smelled like loss. I kept repeating, "She won't leave forever. She won't." But a small voice inside me said the truth. She was already gone long before the suitcase. By the time the rain stopped, I felt like someone had pulled the whole world out from under my feet. I looked at the door and whispered the words I was scared to say out loud, "She won't come back, right?" I sat there until my legs went numb, hoping the night would give me some answer. But all it gave me was fear, regret, and the bitter truth that love can disappear quietly, long before anyone notices it fading. Completely. I never believed a single moment could change a whole life. I always thought pain came slowly, like rain, a few drops, then a storm. But that night, everything fell at once. I remember standing in the hallway, the apartment door slightly open, a soft light coming from inside. My hand was shaking. My heart was loud. And something deep in my chest whispered, "Don't go in." But I did. When I stepped inside, the whole world stopped moving. I heard their voices before I saw them, low, soft, and too close. My wife's laugh. My brother's breath. My mind refused to believe it. I moved like someone else was controlling me, step by step, until I saw them sitting together on the couch, her head on his shoulder, his hand on her waist. My chest twisted, sharp like broken glass. For a second, they didn't even notice me. They were too close, too comfortable, too familiar. Then she lifted her head and her eyes met mine. Her smile froze. My brother turned around and the color drained from his face. That's when the room went silent, heavy, deadly, suffocating. "Why, you're home early," she whispered. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My throat was tight like someone was pulling a rope around my neck. I wanted to scream, to break something, to tear the whole room apart. But I only stood there, frozen, watching everything I ever loved collapse. My brother stood up first. "It's not what it looks like." The stupidest line in the world. A line for cowards. A line for liars. I laughed. I don't even know why. It wasn't real laughter. It was the kind that hurts more than crying. "Really?" I said. "Then please, explain what it looks like." No one spoke. Not for a long time. The silence burned. Finally, my wife stepped forward. "We didn't mean to hurt you. It just happened." The words stabbed deeper than anything else. Just happened. Love, trust, marriage, everything just happened to break. I felt something inside me crack. Not loudly. Quietly. Like a bone snapping under skin. "How long?" I asked. She looked down. 3 months. 3 months. 3 months of lies. 3 months of holding my hands while holding his behind my back. 3 months of calling me love while loving someone else. I couldn't breathe. The walls seemed to close in around me. My brother reached for me. "Please listen." I stepped back. "Don't touch me." I never thought I would say those words to him. He was my older brother. My protector. My friend. The person I trusted most. And now he stood in front of me with guilt in his eyes and betrayal on his hands. My wife started crying. Maybe she expected me to hold her, to comfort her like I always did. But I couldn't move. I felt cold. Empty. Like someone had carved my heart out. "I loved you," I said quietly. "I gave you everything. Why wasn't it enough?" She covered her face with her hands. "I'm sorry." Sorry. The most useless word in the world. I walked past them and went to the bedroom. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to shout. I just wanted to breathe. But even the air felt heavy with betrayal. I opened the wardrobe and pulled out my suitcase. The moment the zipper sounded, she ran into the room. "No, please. Don't leave." She grabbed my arm. "We can fix this." I shook her hand off. "You broke something you can't fix." She cried harder. My brother stood at the door, frozen like a thief caught in the act. I packed quietly. Shirt. Pants. A sweater she gave me last winter. I left it. I didn't want anything from her anymore. When I turned to leave, she fell to her knees. "Don't go. Please. I made a mistake. I will do anything." Her voice shook. Her tears hit the floor. But I didn't feel anything. Not anger. Not love. Just emptiness. "You didn't make a mistake," I said. "A mistake happens once. You chose him." My brother closed his eyes like he couldn't bear to hear the truth. I walked out of the room, out of the house, out of the life I knew. Each step felt heavier than the last. When I reached the street, the night air hit my face, cold and painful. I didn't cry. Not then. Not yet. But something inside me whispered, "This is not the end. This is the beginning of who you will become." And for the first time, I believed it. When I opened the door, the last face I expected to see was Myra's. And definitely not like this. Thin, pale, shaking, holding a baby in her arms like she was afraid the world would steal him away. My voice cracked before I could stop it. "Mira, what is this? Whose child is that?" She didn't look at me. Not even for a second. Her eyes stayed fixed on the floor. I had nowhere else to go. The words slammed into my chest. I felt something inside me twist so hard it hurt to breathe. "You can't say that and expect me to understand," I whispered. "Explain. Now." The baby started crying, loud, sharp, desperate. Mira pressed him closer to her chest. "Please, can I come inside first? People are watching." I glanced down the hallway. She was right. Doors were already opening. Curious eyes. Whispering mouths. I stepped aside even though every part of me screamed not to. "Fine. Come in." She walked past me slowly like her legs barely worked. I closed the door and leaned against it, trying to stay calm. I failed. "What is going on, Mira?" I asked again. "Who is he? Why are you here?" "I'll explain," she said, still not meeting my eyes. "Just give me a minute." "A minute?" I almost laughed. "You left for months. You vanished. You broke everything. And now you're standing in my house with a baby, and you want a minute?" "I didn't know where else to go," she murmured. "That's not an answer." She swallowed hard. "I can't tell you everything yet." "Why not?" "Because I don't trust myself," she said quietly. "And if I tell you the truth, I'm afraid you'll throw me out." I stared at her. "I might." The baby cried again, louder this time, like he could feel the tension in the air. Mira rocked him gently, whispering something to him under her breath. I watched the way she held him, careful, protective, almost desperate. I hated how much it hurt me. Mira, I said softer now, just tell me who the father is. She froze. Is it Saad? I whispered. Her head jerked up, panic flashing across her face. No, it's not him. Then who? I can't say. You can't or you won't? She shut her eyes. Please don't push me right now. I took a step back, rubbing my forehead. You can't come here with a baby and expect me to stay quiet. I didn't expect anything, she said. I didn't know where else to go. Before I could answer, someone pounded on the door so hard the whole frame shook. I already knew who it was. I felt the anger before I heard the voice. Open the door. Saad shouted. I know she's in there. Mira flinched. I looked at her. You told him you were coming here? No, she whispered. He followed me. I opened the door and Saad practically pushed his way inside. Are you insane? He barked at Mira. Have you completely lost your mind? Why did you come here? Because I needed help, she said, clutching the baby tighter. From him? Saad pointed at me. After everything you did to him? She had nowhere else, I began. This isn't your problem, he snapped at me. The hell it isn't, I shot back. She brought it to my doorstep. Saad turned to Mira again. Tell him whose baby it is. She shook her head. I can't. You have to, he yelled. You can't keep hiding it. The baby started screaming again, loud, frightened. Mira tried to calm him, but her hands were shaking so much she almost dropped a bottle from her bag. Stop yelling, I said. You're scaring him. Saad pointed at the baby. He should be scared. His whole life is a mess because she can't make one good decision. Myra's voice cracked. Please, stop. No, Saad said. You dragged him into this. You dragged me into this. You don't get to hide anymore. Tell him the truth. I said I can't, she cried. Then I will, he shouted. My heart thumped so hard I thought it might break. Saad, what are you saying? He opened his mouth, but Mira suddenly stepped between us. No, she shouted. This is my life. My mistake. My pain. I will say it when I'm ready. Saad clenched his fists. You'll never be ready. I will, she whispered. Fine, he said, storming toward the door. Stay here if you want. But don't expect me to clean up this mess again. He slammed the door behind him so hard the windows trembled. Silence filled the room, except for the baby's soft, tired whimpers. I looked at Mira. You need to start talking. Right now. She sank onto the couch, holding the baby close. I know. Who is he? She shook her head slowly. I can't tell you the father's name. Not yet. You came to my house. You owe me the truth. I know, she whispered again. But if I tell you now, you'll never let me stay. I stared at her. You shouldn't stay. I know, she said, voice trembling. But I'm begging you, just tonight. I have nowhere else. The baby looked up at me with big, tired eyes, like he didn't understand any of this but still felt the weight of it. I exhaled slowly. Fine. One night. No promises after that. Myra's shoulders collapsed with relief. Thank you. Don't thank me, I said. This doesn't mean I forgive you. I know. And tomorrow, I added, you tell me everything. Her eyes lowered. I will try. No, I said firmly. You will. She nodded, small, broken. Okay. I walked to the kitchen to get water, but my hands were still shaking. I could feel the whole night pressing on my chest. Baby. Her baby. A truth she wouldn't tell. A past I never healed from. And a future that suddenly felt terrifying. But I had let her in. And now, there was no turning back. I didn't sleep. I kept hearing the baby's soft breathing from the sofa, and Myra's quiet humming as she tried to keep him calm. My mind wouldn't stop spinning. When morning finally came, I sat across from her, my voice rough. We talk now. No more delays. Mira nodded weakly. I know. Start, I said. Tell me why you left. Tell me who broke our marriage. She looked down at her hands. I didn't mean for it to happen. I felt alone. I felt ignored. I felt... No, I cut in. You're hiding something. You don't destroy a home because you felt lonely for a week. I felt lonely for years, she whispered. I felt anger rise in my chest. Then why didn't you talk to me? Why didn't you tell me before everything collapsed? I tried, she said. You were always working. You always brushed it off. That doesn't justify an affair. Her lips trembled. I know. Silence stretched between us. The baby shifted in her arms, grabbing her scarf with a tiny hand. The sight made the pain sharper. Who was he? I asked. Say his name already. I can't. You can, I insisted. You just won't. She looked like she might cry again. I swear I'm not trying to hurt you. You already did, I said. You just don't want to face it. There was a sudden knock on the door, sharp, impatient. Mira froze. I opened it and Rania walked in without waiting for permission. I need to talk to Mira. Alone. No, I said. Whatever it is, say it here. Rania threw a glare at me. This is family business. I was her husband, I said. It was my family too. Rania sighed dramatically. Fine. Mira, did you tell him yet? Mira shook her head slowly. I'm trying. Trying? Rania scoffed. He deserves the truth. Just say Cameron's name. Myra's breath hitched, and I stopped breathing. Who? My voice came out dead. Rania blinked. You didn't know? Say it again, I said, though the answer had already carved itself into my bones. Professor Cameron, she repeated. The baby's father. The world tilted. I grabbed the edge of the dining table to steady myself. You're lying, I whispered. Tell her she's lying. Myra's eyes filled instantly. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I said, my voice shaking. No. You used to talk about him like he was some saint. You defended him every time someone complained. You stayed after class for him. You canceled dinners because of study sessions. It wasn't like that, she cried. Then what was it? I didn't plan it, she said. He understood me. He listened. I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Rania stepped forward. I told her not to come here. This was a mistake. I ignored her. I couldn't look away from Mira. You cheated on me with the man you praised in front of everyone. The man you said was like a mentor. He was, she whispered. And then he became more, I said. She nodded helplessly. My stomach twisted. So the baby? Mira clutched the child tighter. Yes. That's his son? Yes. Something inside me cracked. I felt it happen, like a bone breaking cleanly. I walked to the window, gripping the curtain as my vision blurred. All those nights you came home late, I said quietly. All those arguments. All those excuses. I'm not proud of it, she whispered. You shouldn't be proud, I said sharply. You should be ashamed. Rania stepped closer to her. Let's go, Mira. This was a mistake. No, I said. She wanted to tell me. Let her say everything. Mira wiped her cheeks. I didn't choose him over you. Yes, you did, I said. Every lie you told was a choice. He manipulated me, she whispered. He promised he'd take care of us. He said he loved me. And then? I asked. He disappeared, she said. When he learned I was pregnant, he blocked me. He left the city. I stared at her. So he used you. And you came running back to me because I'm safe. No, she said desperately. I came because I trust you. Because you're the only person who won't let my child suffer. I shook my head. You don't get to say that. Not after what you did. Rania grabbed her arm. We're leaving. Mira held the baby tighter. Please, don't make me go. I felt something break open inside me. Rage, grief, humiliation, all mixed into something heavy and choking. I need air, I said. Mira reached out. Wait. I stepped back. Don't touch me. I walked toward the door, every step echoing louder than the last. Myra's voice cracked behind me. Please, don't leave like this. But I didn't stop. I couldn't. When I reached the doorway, I whispered the only question that mattered, one I wasn't expecting an answer to. Why wasn't I enough? And then I stepped outside, letting the cold morning hit my face like punishment. I didn't plan to meet him so soon. I only wanted fresh air, silence, anything that wasn't Myra's crying. But fate had other plans. I stepped outside the small tea shop near my street, and there he was, Cameron, the man who ruined my marriage. He looked nothing like the respected teacher Mira once worshipped. His shoulders were bent, his clothes wrinkled, and his eyes darted around like he was hiding from ghosts. He noticed me first. You're Myra's husband, right? I said. Who are you now? Her mentor? Her mistake. He winced. I didn't come here to fight. Great, I said. Because I'm done fighting. I just want answers. He looked around nervously. Can we sit? I'd rather stand, I replied. Say whatever you came to say. He took a shaky breath. I know she came back to you. And I'm not here to take her. I stared at him. Good. Because you already took enough. He rubbed his hands together. Listen. I'm not the man she thinks I am. And I'm not the man you think I am either. I don't care who you are, I said. Just tell me why you destroyed my life. He gave a dry, humorless laugh. Destroyed your life? I destroyed my own. I felt a strange pull in my chest. Explain. He leaned against the wall, tired. She begged me to leave my wife, you know. Every day. She said she couldn't live without me. My jaw tightened. She told me she felt ignored. He snorted. Ignored? She wanted a fantasy. She wanted drama. She wanted someone to worship her. I gave her attention, but she wanted more. She pushed. I didn't. So you used her, I said. No, he replied. We used each other. But she expected me to burn my life for her. I wasn't going to do that. Then why did you start anything at all? He ran a hand through his hair. Because I was stupid. Because it felt good to be admired by a younger woman. Because I didn't think she'd take it this far. I said nothing. My fingers curled into fists. He continued anyway, like he needed to empty his soul. I didn't leave my wife. But she found the messages. She told the school. She told the board. It got messy. What happened? I asked, though I shouldn't have cared. I lost my job. My reputation. My marriage. Everything. I didn't feel sympathy. I didn't feel anger either. I felt something colder. So that's your karma. He nodded slowly. Yes. And I deserve it. I studied his face. The arrogance that Mira once admired was gone. He looked defeated, older, smaller. Why are you telling me all this? I asked. Because she came back to you, he said quietly. She always talked about you. Even when she was with me. She said you'd understand her. She said you'd forgive anything. I felt a sting in my chest. She was wrong. He nodded again. I figured. But she still believes it. She still believes you're the safest place she has. Why? I asked. After everything she did? Because you're the only person who ever loved her without wanting something back. I felt something break inside me. Truth hurts worst when it's spoken by the one who ruined you. He straightened. I'm not here to win her back. I'm here to warn you. She's fragile. Lost. She doesn't know how to live on her own. And she doesn't know how to stop running. I'm not her savior, I said. He nodded. No. But she thinks you are. Silence grew between us. Finally I asked, do you care about the baby? He exhaled. I don't even know him. And his mother doesn't want me near him. I have nothing left to give. I felt a twisted mix of satisfaction and guilt. So you're done with her? Yes, he said. And she knows it. I shook my head. Then why did she come to me? Because she has nowhere else, he said. And because she thinks you're still the same man. I didn't respond. I felt torn, anger pulling one way, pity pulling the other. He stepped back. If you're smart, you'll let her go. I turned away. I tried. She came anyway. As I walked home, I heard a soft voice behind me. You okay? I turned. Aisha stood near the corner, holding a file from work. No, I said honestly. She nodded. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. Her gentle tone felt like sunlight after a storm. A warmth Mira never gave me. For the first time, I wondered if real love wasn't supposed to hurt this much. I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the ceiling, listening to the baby's soft breathing from the next room and Myra's quiet sobs behind the half-closed door. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Every thought dragged me back into the same storm. In the morning, she approached me slowly. Can we talk? I kept my eyes on the cup in my hands. We've been talking for days. Nothing changes. But I need you to hear me, she whispered. Really hear me? I sighed. Fine. Say it. She sat across from me. I never wanted to hurt you. That's the problem, I said. You didn't want to hurt me, but you still did. She swallowed hard. I thought Cameron would save me. He made me feel seen. Important. I stared at her. And I didn't? You did, she said, voice trembling. You loved me more than anyone. But I felt empty, like something was missing. So you chose him. She shook her head, wiping tears. I chose a dream. And he chose himself. I leaned back, tired. Why come back? Because I have nothing left, she said. And because I knew you wouldn't let me fall. I laughed softly. You still think I'm that man? She looked at her hands. I don't know who you are anymore. You feel far. Good, I said. Because the old me died the night you walked out. Before she could respond, someone knocked hard on the door. I opened it and saw Saad, his face burning with anger. Where is she? He demanded. I pointed toward the living room. He walked straight past me and glared at Mira. You have some nerve coming back here. Saad, please, she began. No, he cut her off. You broke him. You left him to rot. And now you're here because what? He's your safety net. She looked down. I'm not asking for your approval. You don't need my approval, he snapped. But you don't get to hurt him again. I stepped between them. Saad, stop. I'll handle it. You shouldn't, he said. Kick her out. She made her choice. I know, I whispered. But the baby... Saad groaned. Don't let pity ruin your life again. Mira covered her face. I never wanted this. Saad pointed at her. You made every choice that led here. Enough. I shouted. Both of you. Saad stared at me. She doesn't deserve your kindness. I whispered, maybe not. But the baby didn't ask for any of this. Saad clenched his jaw but didn't argue. My phone buzzed. A number I didn't want to see flashed on the screen. Cameron. I answered anyway. What now? His voice was low, shaky. Is she still there? Yes. I need a favor, he whispered. Keep her away from me. I stepped outside so Mira wouldn't hear. Why should I help you? Because she won't leave me alone, he said. She wants answers I can't give. You broke her life, I said. Now you're scared of her? He breathed heavily. You don't understand. I understand enough, I said. No, he insisted. She thinks I still love her. But I don't. I can't be near her. Not after everything. Then tell her yourself. I tried, he said. She keeps showing up. Crying. Begging. I can't risk my wife seeing her again. She'll destroy what little I have left. You want me to protect you now? I want peace, he said. And you're the only person she listens to. The irony made my stomach twist. She didn't listen to me when it mattered. He went quiet for a moment. Look, if you expose us, I'll lose everything again. I'm asking you not to. I closed my eyes. Why should I have mercy? Because you're better than me, he whispered. And better than her. I ended the call without replying. When I walked back inside, Mira looked at me with worry. Was that him? Yes. What did he say? I didn't answer. I threw my keys on the table and sat down. Saad looked at me. What now? I don't know, I said. Mira reached for my hand. Please talk to me. I pulled my hand away. Why didn't you tell me the truth from the beginning? I was scared, she whispered. I thought if you knew you'd hate me. I don't hate you, I said quietly. That's the problem. She broke down. I regret everything. I regret leaving you. I regret trusting him. I regret dreaming of a life that didn't exist. Saad scoffed. A little late for regret. She looked up at me, tears streaming. I want forgiveness. I want to fix things. I can't fix something that never stopped breaking, I said. But I can try, she insisted. Let me rebuild your trust. You didn't break my trust, I said. You broke me. She covered her mouth, choking on a sob. I know. I stood and walked to the window. My hands shook again. I can expose you both. I can go to the board, the school, your family, everyone. She froze. Are you going to? I haven't decided. Saad nodded. You should. They deserve consequences. Mira whispered, please. No. I already lost everything. And I didn't? I asked. She looked at the floor. I'm sorry. I'm tired of sorry, I said. Silence wrapped around all three of us. Aisha's voice played in my head. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. Her calmness, her warmth, her honesty. So different from the chaos in front of me. Mira spoke again. What do you want? I don't know, I said. Revenge? Closure? Freedom? Peace? I don't know anymore. I walked into my room, opened my drawer, and pulled out a thin folder. Divorce papers. My breath shook as I held them. Mira followed me to the doorway. What is that? My choice, I whispered. I didn't sign them. Not yet. But I gripped them so tightly the edges bent. Because I knew the next step would decide everything. My pain, my future, and who I would become after all of this. When I woke up that morning, I didn't expect the world to collapse around the two people who once destroyed mine. But by noon, everything had already begun. I was pouring tea when Saad rushed in, waving his phone. Bro, you need to see this, he said. My stomach tightened. What now? It's Cameron, he breathed. His ex-wife, she's filed a lawsuit. Public. Brutal. I took the phone from him. The headline hit me like cold air. Professor Cameron accused of manipulation, misconduct, and emotional exploitation. I whispered, so it begins. Saad watched me carefully. You okay? I don't know, I said. I should feel relieved. But all I feel is tired. Before he could answer, I heard a weak knock at my door. It was Rania. She looked drained, like she hadn't slept in days. Where's Mira? She asked. In the room, I said. Crying again. Rania sighed. Good. She should cry. She lied to me for months. I frowned. She didn't tell you anything? Nothing, she said bitterly. I defended her. I thought you were the cold husband. Turns out she and that professor were. She stopped herself. I kept my voice steady. You don't have to explain. I'm done with her, she said. I came only to return her things. She'll break when she hears that, I murmured. Rania gave a humorless laugh. She already broke. And honestly, she made this bad. She walked away before I could say anything else. I stepped back inside, the silence heavy around me. Mira was curled on the floor, holding her baby, rocking him as she cried. When she looked up, her voice trembled. Was that Rania? Yes, I said. She's leaving me too, isn't she? She said she needs distance. Myra's face crumpled. Everyone is leaving. Everyone. She pressed her forehead to the floor. Please don't leave me alone. Her words hit me harder than I expected. But the strange thing was, I didn't feel the same pull toward her anymore. I knelt beside her. Mira, look at me. She lifted her wet eyes. Why are you begging me? I asked softly. You never begged when you left me. I was stupid, she whispered. I thought he loved me. I thought he would protect me. And now? He's gone, she said. And I have nowhere. Before I could speak, my phone buzzed again. A message from a colleague. University released a statement. Cameron suspended. Investigations ongoing. I let out a long breath. It's all falling apart for him. Mira flinched. Because of me. No, I said. Because of his choices. She hugged her baby closer. I never wanted this. I stared at her. Are you sure? Because every choice you made brought you here. She broke into sobs again. I watched her cry, and for the first time I didn't feel shattered. I felt distant. Clear. My phone buzzed again, this time it was Aisha. Her message was simple. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. I didn't reply, but the warmth in her words lingered. Saad knocked on the door frame. You want me to tell her parents? Already tried, I said. They won't take her. What did they say? That she ruined their honor. Saad shook his head. She's completely on her own. I know, I said quietly. And somehow, I'm not anymore. He raised an eyebrow. Aisha. I didn't answer. But he smiled anyway. Mira crawled toward me suddenly, grabbing my hand. Please, don't push me away, she begged. I'll fix everything. I'll do anything. Stop, I said, pulling my hand back. You're begging out of fear, not love. That's not true, she cried. It is, I said softly. You love the idea of being saved. You never loved me the way I loved you. She froze, like she finally understood something she had ignored for years. I'm losing everything, she whispered. And I'm finally seeing everything, I replied. I walked to the window, watching the evening light fade. The weight on my chest felt lighter than it had in months. She asked, Where are you going? Away from this, I said. Away from the mess that wasn't mine. As I reached the door, I heard her voice crack. Will you ever forgive me? I looked back at her, broken, desperate, holding a child that wasn't mine. I don't know, I said. But I know this much. I'm starting to heal. And for the first time since the day she betrayed me, I felt it. Not revenge, not hatred, just clarity. I sat across from Mira, the divorce papers lying flat on the table between us. My hands didn't shake this time. They were steady, firm, like they finally belonged to me and not to the chaos she brought into my life. She reached out, her eyes pleading. Please, don't do this. I can fix everything. I swear I can. I looked at her calmly, the first real calm I'd felt in years. Mira, I gave you everything I had, I said slowly. But I can't give you my future. Her hands trembled as she held mine. I made mistakes, yes. But you have to understand. I was lost. I didn't know what I was doing. I withdrew my hands gently. And I was here, waiting, loving, forgiving, believing you'd come back when you were ready. But you never did, not truly. Not for me. She shook her head, tears streaming down her cheeks. I never stopped thinking about you. I never stopped loving you. I swallowed, the words inside me catching like fire. No, Mira. You stopped loving me the moment you chose someone else. I loved you when you left. I loved you through lies and betrayal. And I loved you when you returned. But loving you doesn't mean I have to live for the same pain twice. Her voice cracked. I don't know how to make you see that I'm sorry. That I'm here, You can't make me see it, I said. Because it doesn't matter anymore. What matters is me finally choosing me. The baby shifted in her arms, small hands reaching out. One tiny fist caught the edge of my shirt. I froze for a moment, expecting a spark of anger, resentment, a surge of the hatred I had felt every time I saw him. But instead, there was nothing. Just a quiet, strange peace. I knelt slowly, letting him grip my shirt, feeling the soft weight of him. Hey there, I whispered. You're small but you're strong. Myra's sobs grew softer as she watched me. See? He loves you, I said gently. I mean, he's just a baby. But there's nothing in him that's meant to hurt me. Nothing like what happened before. She looked at me with a fragile hope. So, you forgive me? She asked. I shook my head lightly. No, Mira. Forgiveness isn't the point. I'm not here to forgive you. I'm here to finally let go. Her hands trembled as she reached for the papers. Please, just don't sign them. I can change. I will change. I'll do anything. I slid the pen in front of me, picked it up, and for the first time I felt the weight of choice. Not hers, mine. Mine and only mine. I pressed the tip to the paper and signed, each stroke a small release, a reclaiming of myself. I pushed the papers toward her. Here. It's done. Her fingers shook as she took them. You really mean this? She asked, barely a whisper. Yes, I said. I choose me. I choose my life, my peace, my sanity. I choose forward, not backward. And I'm done with being the man who waited for someone who didn't stay. She sank onto the floor, hugging the baby tightly. I don't know how to live without you, she said, voice muffled against him. You'll learn, I said softly. And maybe, you'll finally see what I saw all along. That love isn't enough when it isn't real. I stood, looking around the apartment one last time. The echoes of arguments, betrayal, and pain seemed quieter now, almost like they were already fading. I noticed the wedding ring on the table, its band scratched and worn. Slowly, I picked it up, turning it in my fingers, and then placed it gently back down. A symbol of something I once cherished but now had no claim over. Myra's eyes followed me, wide and helpless. You're walking away? I nodded. Yes. I'm walking away from the past. From the lies. From the pain. I'm walking towards something I've never had, peace. Her voice cracked again. Will you ever think of me? I stopped at the doorway, looking at her crumpled figure, at the baby who had unknowingly brought me a small moment of calm. I will, I said quietly. But not with anger. Not with longing. Just clarity. And hope that one day you'll understand what real love means. I opened the door and stepped into the quiet street. The evening air brushed against my face, crisp, clean, freeing. My chest felt lighter than it had in years, every breath a little less burdened, every heartbeat slower, calmer. I turned briefly, glancing back at the apartment. The baby stirred in her arms, reaching out as if to follow me. I smiled faintly, a strange tenderness passing through me. I didn't hate him. I didn't resent him. He was just life, and I was finally ready to live mine. The door closed behind me. The wedding ring remained on the table, lying broken and empty. A quiet symbol of endings, of choices made, and of freedom reclaimed. For the first time in what felt like a lifetime, I felt whole. I felt free. I felt me. And I walked forward. The morning sun fell softly through my window. For the first time in years, I didn't feel haunted. My apartment smelled like fresh coffee and a hint of flowers Aisha had brought yesterday. I smiled, small and genuine, because it wasn't a forced smile. It was me. Aisha was in the kitchen, humming while she made breakfast. She looked up and caught my eye. Morning. Sleep well? I did, I said. Really well. She raised an eyebrow. That's rare for you. I chuckled. I guess some things change. She smiled faintly, leaning against the counter. You've changed. Happier, lighter. I like it. Thanks, I said. It feels good to finally feel like myself again. She put a plate of toast in front of me. So, what are we going to do today? I shrugged, sipping my coffee. Whatever we want. No pressure. No expectations. Just living. Her eyes softened. That sounds perfect. We ate quietly, a calmness between us I hadn't known I could feel. No drama. No betrayal. No ghosts from the past. Just two people enjoying the present. Later my phone buzzed. I glanced down. A message from Mira. I'm sorry. I hope you find happiness. I stared at it for a long time. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. My heart didn't spike with anger. It didn't sink with pain. It didn't even flicker with longing. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. My silence was enough. My peace was enough. My life was enough. I set the phone down and looked out the window at the city waking up below me. I thought about everything. Her betrayal, Cameron's arrogance, the years I lost in grief, Saad's relentless support, and Aisha's quiet patience. I whispered to myself, I survived. I finally lived. Aisha appeared beside me, her shoulder brushing mine. Are you thinking about her? I shook my head, smiling softly. Not really. I'm thinking about now. About what I have and who I want to be. I don't need the past to define me anymore. She looked at me, warmth and understanding in her eyes. I'm glad you're finally free. I nodded. I am. Free from pain, free from lies, free from waiting for people who weren't mine to begin with. She laughed lightly. That's the best kind of freedom. We walked to the park nearby, the air crisp and bright. Children played, couples strolled, and somewhere a dog barked happily. I noticed details I hadn't before. The way the sunlight hit the leaves, the laughter that wasn't hollow, the breeze that felt like it carried possibility instead of grief. Aisha reached for my hand. I didn't hesitate. I didn't pull away. I held it, steady, comfortable. Not out of fear or longing, but because I wanted to. Because I had learned to trust again, carefully, gently. Feels different, doesn't it? She asked. Yeah, I said. Feels like life is mine again. Not someone else's story, not a past I can't change. Mine. She smiled, squeezing my hand. Then let's live it. I nodded. We will. Slowly. Surely. Honestly. Later I sat on the park bench watching people move in all directions. I thought about betrayal and regret. I thought about how Mira left, how Cameron fell, how I once thought I would never smile again. But those moments didn't break me, they shaped me. Every lie, every tear, every sleepless night had made me who I was today. Strong, clear, unafraid. I whispered into the wind, thank you for teaching me, for letting me see what matters. The phone buzzed again. Mira? I glanced. No new message. My chest didn't tighten. My mind didn't wander. I turned back to Aisha, to the present, to the warmth of her hand in mine, and finally smiled with my whole heart. I walked forward, step by step, free from the past, ready for what life wanted to give me next. No looking back. No regrets. No chains. Only freedom. Only me.